Someone asked me, how do you pick a keynote speaker? And why? So first, the why. I think it's really important for us to have a shared experience. We had so many different kinds of experiences today with members of our alumni body, and I think it's really important. I think it's a great way to kind of culminate the day to have someone share their story with us. And I thought the story of Edward Opoku would be most inspiring to all of us. So in 2010, I was the director of admissions at Millbrook School. I moved here on July 1st, and the first admissions letter that I signed as the director was for a boy named Baki Bawa. And he was the first boy to join Millbrook School from an organization called The Right to Dream. The Right to Dream, many of you know, is an incredible school, community, and soccer academy in Ghana. And we were lucky and privileged and fortunate enough to create a partnership with a few other schools to bring students over to the United States who could, of course, play the game of soccer, but bring a whole lot more to our schools. And so almost within a year of Baki being here, the Millbrook community fell so in love with him that we thought this could be a partnership for a long time. And I started to hear the rumblings of this boy and Right to Dream that everyone said would be the perfect Millbrook fit. And his name was Edward Opoku. And I'll tell you just a couple of stories. I had the privilege of interviewing Edward on a Zoom, and I don't know that I ever laughed so hard in an interview. His energy, which I think you'll see today, his energy is boundless, it's endless, it's effervescent, smart, and I would say in all of my journeys in my entire life, nobody is street smart as Edward Opoku. And I can expound on that later. But Edward had me laughing all the way. And he wanted to tell me that as much as he was a soccer player, he was an actor. He was born for the stage. And I said, well, what did you play? I said, and was it Midsummer's Night's Dream? What was the play? No, it was Midsummer's Night's Dream, and he had a female role, and he loved it, every bit of it. The boys, at the time, there were not girls at the Right to Dream Academy, so he was the star of the show, and he wanted to tell me all about it. So, fast forward, fell in love with Edward on the Zoom. He comes to Millbrook School, and I'll never forget, going out, I walked out because I wanted to see the first practice. And Mr. McWilliams, the soccer field is McWilliams Field, who is a long time, 40-year faculty member here, an incredible soccer coach. He also had a reputation for kind of going long with his lectures, right, with his coaching lessons. He was verbose. And I'm watching Mr. McWilliams talking to the varsity soccer team, and Edward's standing there with a ball on his head for 20 minutes. And all the boys on the team paid no attention to Mr. McWilliams. They said, who is this kid? And we can't wait to engage with him on the soccer field. Edward's time at Millbrook was inspirational. It wasn't perfect. He wasn't afraid of a little bit of mischief. I will say he babysat my children at a young age. He stayed with our family. He stayed in touch with our family. Every Thanksgiving, we get together with the Allens, and Edward always shows up and steals the show. We never know what time of day. We don't know if he's going to arrive, and then he arrives. I'm so excited about what he has to share with us today that, as you can see in the front row, I went to pull my own children from school so that they could come to school and learn a little bit about life. So without further ado, I'll turn things over to my friend, Edward Opoku.
Thank you, guys.
Have fun.
He made me look cool, but I'm not that cool. I promise you. I also know that it's been a long day, so I'll try and keep it short. So please don't fall asleep on me. All right. I'll just dive right into it. I think you probably see this picture, yeah? You know, it's quite a time, but made progress. But anyway, it's truly an honor to stand before you today, to return to this special place, a place that shaped my heart, my future, and the man I've become means more than I can express. When Mr. Downs asked me to be a keynote speaker, I was overwhelmed with gratitude. This school gave me so much. It gave me more than education. It gave me a second home, a second chance. Today, I want to take you on a journey, my journey. Over the next 25 minutes, I'll open up about where I come from, the battles I've fought, the dreams I've chased, and the purpose that drives me today. This isn't a story of luck. It's my story. It's a story of resilience, of sacrifice, and of the power of a community. Looking at me now, you might see the wins. Playing professional soccer in Major League, being the first generation in my family to graduate from college, UVA, attending one of the most prestigious boarding schools in the world, being surrounded by people who believe in me. But what you don't see is the other side, the life I left behind, the silence I carried for years. For a long time, I didn't share my story, not because I was ashamed, but because I didn't want pity. So I ask this of you. If you find strength in my story, let it be inspiration, but don't feel sorry for me. Feel motivated by what's possible. I was born in Konongo, Odumase, a small town in Ghana, where dreams don't come easy. We didn't have much. We didn't have a real soccer ball. We would tie together a plastic bag and kick them down the dusty street, barefoot. That street was our stadium. The whole town would come out to cheer. We had no lights, but we had passion. We had each other. One day, a man from the mining company gave us a real ball and some cleats. It was the first time I felt seen. My story is not without pain. My father disowned me at birth, said I was too weak to be his son. He passed away when I was 5, but his words stuck with me because they were told to me by my grandmother. I was the youngest of 8, raised by my mother alone. Every day was a battle for survival. We couldn't afford school. Football was all I knew. It was my escape. And just when I felt things couldn't get harder, everything changed. So if you guys saw the previous slide, that was the home I grew up, and then when I went back, after I signed my first professional contract, I went and rebuilt the house for my family. So it's kind of pretty cool to see. But after almost 2 years of living on the street, my local coach found me. I was just 8 years old, barefoot, hungry, chasing a plastic ball down the dusty street when he spotted me. That very same night, a flood swept through our home, washed everything we owned. We lost it all. But even in that darkness, light found me. That coach showed up at our door, spoke to my mom, and despite of having nothing to offer, she gave him the only thing she had left, her trust. He offered me a lifeline, the chance to live and train with other boys. It wasn't easy. 15 of us slept in one room. If you arrived early, you got a scrap of mud to sleep on. If not, the cold concrete was your bed. But we had food. We had a roof over our heads. And for the first time in my life, I had hope. That moment, after many years of uncertainty, loneliness, struggle became the start of everything. Then came a moment that changed everything. The Right to Dream health tryouts in my town. That same day was my grandmother's funeral. Her burial site was near the soccer field. I took it as a sign. A friend who passed away just 2 years ago lent me his cleats so I could try out. Out of 400 boys, they selected 16. Then 8. Then 4. Then just 1. And that one is standing in front of you today. Thank you. When the staff came to speak to my mom, she didn't hesitate. She looked them in the eye and said, "Take him." I didn't understand it then, because after all, I was just a 10-year-old boy. I questioned her love towards me. But now I know that was love. That was sacrifice. Her goodbye was the beginning of my journey. I believe most students and faculty members here are familiar with the Right to Dream story. So I won't retell everything, but I want to share what it meant personally. At first, I hated Right to Dream. Imagine bringing a street kid to a structured environment. I had never been to school before. In my first English class, I was asked to write a story. I could barely write. My attempt at spelling goal was G-O-O-O-O all the way to the edge of the page. Because that's how it sounded on TV. Unlike other boys, I couldn't go home during holidays. My town had no opportunity, no food, no future. And my mother couldn't afford to feed me. So, what did I do? I stayed, I studied, and I fought for my place in the world. I landed in New York. My host parents brought me to their high-rise apartment on the Upper East Side. I walked to the window, looked over the skyline, and cried. I had never seen light like that before. Back in my town, darkness was all we knew when the sun went down. That moment lit fire in me. I wish my friends back home could see this view and to know that life could be bigger than what we were born into. Then I arrived at Millbrook. We won 3 championships in my first 3 years, broke the school all-time scoring record until another Right to Dream, a class of 2019, Usaini Buddha broke it. Up to now, I still blame my coaches, Mr. Sikintola and Mikweli. They took me out of game early because as Millbrook, we believe that idea of respect. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I became All-American, MVP, and even more. It was something I never expected. Finding a family. The Langs. Robert and Sophia welcomed me with open arms. And our late mother, Christina Lang, saw something in me I hadn't yet seen in myself. They didn't just offer me a place to sleep. They gave me a home. They gave the street kid from Konongo, Ghana, a seat at their table, a key to their world, a space in their heart. In the Langs, I gained more than support. I gained a brother, I gained a sister, and a mother figure who believed in me with all her heart. Christina Lang never let me forget that I was more than just a soccer player. She reminded me that I was worth it, with or without soccer. Millbrook gave me more than success. It gave me belief. From Millbrook, I earned a full scholarship to the University of Virginia. I started every game as a freshman, became All-American, served on the Title IX student jury. After my second year, I signed a Generation Adidas contract and was drafted in Major League Soccer. Adidas sponsored me. Yes, the same kid who once played barefoot on the street of Ghana. I lived my dream. I played in front of 50,000 fans, but then it ended. I had a career-ending injury. 7 surgeries, my body broke down. And suddenly, so did my identity. I asked myself, what am I if I'm not a soccer player? Millbrook wasn't just a school. It was a turning point. I remember struggling, not just academically, but emotionally. I was navigating a new world, learning a new language, adapting to a new culture. There were moments I felt I didn't belong. But I had people who believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Mr. Downs, you saw something in me, just like my family, the Langs, the Allens, the Sorrentos, Mr. and Mrs. McWilliams, and many more of you. You all made Millbrook feel like home. You saw me not as a charity case, but as someone who was capable of more. Miss Allen, your extra help sessions weren't just about academics. They were acts of love. Mr. and Mrs. Tenenbaum, thank you for playing such a meaningful role in my early Millbrook life, for driving me to games, for our late night ice cream runs at 16 Handles on the Upper East Side, and most of all, for loving me as your own. Millbrook was where I learned that education is not just about books. It's about people. It's about connections. And it's about never letting someone fall behind. It gave me a lasting connections. Eventually, I returned to Ghana, not as the boy barefoot who once was left with nothing, but as someone ready to give back. And when I looked around, I realized not much had changed. The streets were the same. Dreams still lived in the eyes of barefoot boys chasing plastic ball. But now, I had something I didn't have before. The tools to help. And what made that trip even more meaningful was sharing it with someone special. Jeremy Tenenbaum, another Millbrook alum. Jeremy has spent his whole life surrounded by lights, speed, structures of New York City, high rises, and yet, there he was, walking in the dusty street of Konongo, Ghana, where I once played with ball made of plastic bags. Watching Jeremy experience in Ghana, meeting the people, feeling the energy of a community, teaching English to kids who've never heard it before, it changed something in him. And it made me pause. Isn't life something? Coming here to America changed my life. And Jeremy going there to the very street where my journey began changed his. That experience opened his heart in ways neither of us could have imagined. Today, he's living in Israel, dedicating his life to helping victims of war. 2 lives shared by 2 worlds, connected by one shared moment of purpose. That trip reminded me that transformation doesn't belong to one side of the world. It lives in connections. It lives in shared humanity. It lives in the way we open our eyes, our heart, to something bigger than ourselves. That was the moment I knew my story wasn't mine anymore. It had to mean something for others too. That was when Be Happy was born. Rooted in the soil, in the very soil I came from, built from pain, hope, and gratitude. Be Happy isn't a brand. It's not about me. It's a nonprofit. It's a movement. It's a promise to create opportunity where there are none. To bring clean water to communities who has never tasted it. Can you even imagine? To support education for children who are often too forgotten. To provide access to mentorship. And most of all, hope. The name Be Happy came from just a simple dream. That one day, every child who grew up just like me can smile without worrying about what tomorrow will take away. So, I was boring you with my speech. So this is Be Happy, and I've been talking a lot about how education is not just about books, it's about connections. And all these members are people I met along my journey. Some heard my story, some saw me play, and they all voluntarily helped with Be Happy. And so far, this has been our story. And it's crazy because it started off just selling t-shirts. Because when I was in college, as an NCAA athlete, you couldn't have a brand. So after 2 years of being there, I left. And one of my partners, Karen Biando, was like, why don't you, now you have an audience, you have fans, why don't you sell t-shirts and then raise the profit, send it to Ghana and help with kids there. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And honestly, I'm gonna match the profit because I was making good money. I wasn't thinking that this was gonna be a whole thing. So we made 100 shirts and within like 2 hours, sold all of it. And I said, oh my God, so now I have to match the profit. But it felt really good knowing that I was like helping a lot of kids back in a place that I grew up. And just this past January, I was in Ghana, and a place that I grew up who didn't have access to clean water. And we were able to build our first clean water well for them. So that felt really good. And this is like every Christmas, what we do is we like buy groceries and provide Christmas for elderly, and then we organize Christmas soccer tournament for kids under the age of 8 to 13. And that's a picture, one of my favorite pictures there where I took. We opened the water well for the village, and all the kids were just like, they were just like pure joy. And like in the moment, it felt to me that I was seeing myself when I was that age. And that's something that drives me now, and I'm going to keep making sure that I can provide those like basic access for those kids. This is our impact. I won't bore you with like a lot, but you know, you can visit our website and you can know a lot of like what we do and stuff. And in the future, this is our goal, because I believe that you can put a kid in school, and it's great because even being at Millbrook, you know, after school is when that's the most dangerous time for every kid, you know, from 2 to 6. And here your parents might have a babysitter when you're younger, but over there's no such thing. Everyone is a farmer or working as a street vendor. So they are not home. And as a kid, once you close from school, that's when kids get into trouble, get into gang. And I'm a living proof of that. So this is our future. This is what we want to ultimately build for the kids. And I made a promise to those kids that I'm going to not just do it for them, but do it for myself when I was that age. So that's what drives me, one of the most like that made me want to like start this. Sorry. So now you heard about Be Happy, heard about my story. So what do I want you to take away from my story? Not sympathy, not applause, but the truth. You are more powerful than you know. Believe in yourself. Believe in the power of resilience. Believe that no matter where you come from, whether it's a small town in Konongo, Ghana, or the street of New York, your story matters. Because I'm a living proof that where you start does not define where you're going. That pain can grow into purpose. That with love, guidance, and the courage to keep going, anything is truly possible. I was once a boy no one believed in. And today, I stand in front of you as a man built by faith, family, and the people who chose to care. So I say this to you. Whatever you're carrying, whatever you're chasing, don't give up. Because there's someone out there waiting for your story to inspire them, just like mine was. We all have something we can give, whether it's time, it's love, or opportunity. Someone out there needs it. And sometimes, your greatest impact comes from the very thing that you once thought was your weakness. From barefoot street to boardrooms, from silence to stadiums, from invincible to invaluable. I'm not here because I was lucky. I'm here because people believed in me. And now, it's my turn to believe in others. Thank you, Millbrook. Thank you for giving me more than education. You gave me dignity. You gave me direction. And you gave me the courage to be happy. Not just for myself, but for all. Students, you can make difference. Become part of a story. Get involved in something that matters. Make your imprint. Make your story richer. There's so much you can do. And it starts with believing in that voice, believing in your heart. Your hands can truly change the world. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. Yep.
All right, he told me not to cry, but it's hard. You have any questions,
Yeah.
Edward? We have a little bit of time. We'd love to take a question.
You can ask anything, I promise you. Just don't ask me if I had a pet cheetah when I came to Millbrook. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so after your career-ending injury, how did you kind of get yourself out of how did you keep yourself in a positive mindset? And how did you see yourself continuing and to strive in different fields, not just soccer?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I felt like that question was gonna come. So it was a process, I now advocate to a lot of my athlete friends who are still playing. I have friends playing in the Premier League. I have friends playing in the Major League and the Spanish League as well. And I tell people to get involved with something other than just soccer. And I tell them to be vulnerable, also see therapists, talk to people. And I think when soccer ended, it was tough because I think no one who knew me, everyone said Edward the soccer player. And it was like, wow, what's going to be Edward and it took people people I had connection with Millbrook, Miss Allen, Miss Downs, the Mackenzies, the Sorrentos, a lot of people, talking to them, just trying to find that these people knew me when I came, and did they still see me as a soccer player or more than just that, than Edward? So I think it took some time, but it's still a process that I'm going through. But one of the things that probably made me accept this was probably going to Ghana. And when I arrived, my late host mom passed away 3 years ago, and I decided to go to Ghana for 2 months. And when I arrived, when I was playing, these kids would run to me, and that moment felt to me that, wow, they don't care whether I play soccer or don't play. And that came with acceptance that I think that was the moment that I said to myself that, maybe I'm more than just a soccer player, and there's still more impact that I can do. So yeah, yeah.
Hi, my name is Elias. First of all, I think your story was really impactful and touching.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned a lot how it wasn't luck, it was
Yep.
just you believed. How did you maintain that belief despite you going through, challenges in your life and being at your lowest moments?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, I think we all have that part in within us that, like, sometimes it's just like, man, I just want to, like, let it go, like, but probably, being built with, like, where we come from, and I think Francis will know, Naomi will know, there's no option. You just had one. And you get up, you make it work. And, I think, oftentimes when you can live in this country for so long, you can lose a little bit of yourself, in that aspect. But I think so much with, like, having that purpose of, like, helping and being at Millbrook where, you just taught so much that it's just not you. It's just not about yourself all the time, It's about other people. So I think that's what really kind of motivated me to keep going and not give up on, and I think we've had so much, like, adversity. And honestly, every time I give a talk, I say, my story is not, oh my God, wow, Edward's story. I think everyone here, if I put each one of you here and I actually open up to listen, everyone has such a unique story and has a unique, like, way of, like, moving forward and stuff. So I think trying to have a perspective and just move on and knowing that, no matter what you're going through, someone else is going through worse, and just keep going, so. Anyone else? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, Andrew.
Your whole thing's be happy. You have
Yes.
to have moments when you're not happy.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a good trick for everyone to, like, boost some morale?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably one of the best things I've done and one of the worst things I've ever, like, associated myself with, It's like, it's great because everyone's like, oh my God, Edward, like, be happy. And then sometimes, like, one of my teammates used to make fun of me because I forced all my teammates to not buy one t-shirt, but buy 10. And then one of my teammates like, oh, I'm gonna create a t-shirt too and then make it be sad. I was like, honestly, I'll actually buy some, Because I feel like every time, like, I can't be sad in front of people, but then when I'm in my apartment and stuck in my room, I'm like, oh my God, holy shit, like, I am sad. But then I have a tattoo next to me, and I looked at it and it says, be happy, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess be happy, so. So my advice, maybe get a tattoo of be happy. No, don't do that, yeah.